Hey, folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of The Articulate Fly. We're back with another East Tennessee fishing report with Ellis Ward. Ellis, how are you?
I'm doing well, Marv. How are you?
And as always, I'm just trying to stay out of trouble. And, I wouldn't quite say we have Ellis weather anymore, but you should be happy. You've got a fair amount of rain later in the week.
Yeah, I am happy. And that's just because I'm working on me, Marv. Now, the normal schedule of getting 5 hours on the Watauga 6 days a week it's good for the river. It keeps things cool. You get high and low water dry fly activity. Obviously, I do like to notate the non one trick pony here, but obviously I'm partial to streamer fishing. Like it's just very fun. Fishing streamers in big water is something I like to do. And so being able to do that, man, I've been talking with a number of people about how it was just, I'm pretty sure I said it a couple weeks ago as well. It was just a long winter and early spring with very irregular, if any, releases, and for a couple months there are no releases. And so it's hard work to catch a big brown trout, period. Sometimes that means having the benefit of going out with me is dry fly game. Like you have to take the rod and cast and, set the hook and fight the fish in. But, doing that on your own, you got to figure out what is needed. And that could be the fly. It could be are you drifting it from 10 feet? Can you get away with 5.5 or 5X? Are we fighting this thing in on 6? If you're wade fishing, what are the currents and root ball situations? So there's a lot of tough stuff with streamers. It's not lifting your rod at all on the set. And then a couple things after that, but that's the biggest one. After you get them to eat, getting them to eat, it can be a really difficult thing to do. And that was something that over the course of, 6-8 hours, when we're not seeing the dry flies, when we're not getting these high, low water bug activity, intermittent, let's pause and snap up some fish. And some of them are big. So it's not like a waste of time at all if you're hunting big fish. But it is fun. You're sight fishing 2 risers with a dry fly. If you don't like that, then I don't know, fish with someone else. That's just, it's something I love to do. And I love teaching casting and that dry fly presentation and all the variables around it. So that, yesterday was giant sun. There was a little bit of haze, but not really. And my client's looking around saying, I've never seen this many fish rise. I mean, he couldn't cast a dry fly into the water without getting eaten, and we're surrounded by fish. Not in a slick, not in a seam, not in a riffle. I mean, bank to bank, the river's boiling. And, those things only last for 15, 20, 30 minutes-ish, maybe a little more. But when that's happening, the before and after is also really good. And, for everything I say about the influence of the moon and bitiness and all that, like, it was a bad moon day, bad Sunday, and it was pretty clear water, and it was real bitey. We went through like a 3-hour period where it was just super tough. And, we only maybe moved a fish or 2, and then that window cracked open and it was on. So as much as I look forward to fishing when it's overcast, and I got out on my own last week for, I had guided myself on a monster day, and it felt very good. And it was rainy and overcast and just very, very active all day. I have some videos that I'll be sharing on social media. So, always look for that the big clouds coming in, and some of these summertime fronts can be really productive, but it's it's nice out there right now, and it's in terms of the fishing on even on the bluebird days, and we have more than a couple months of that in front of us. So I'm excited for it, and I would say get your, I started saying this last year, but don't don't wait till October if you want to fish streamers. That's not streamer season here. It's a different thing. We don't freeze. Um, it's different here. So if you're in the area and you're thinking of fishing streamers, it's May, June, July, sort of August. And we make it happen at all times of year, but you start getting into September, October, and I start liking things less and less. So I'm going to step away from both. You barely even asked me a question. I'm talking for 10 minutes and a little bit of a soapbox there.
Yeah, I've recalled the drones, so you're good.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
They are going to refuel just in case we run long on the listener question.
It's never safe.
So James, who's sending questions before, had a question for you, and I think this one will make your head explode a little bit. He wanted to know, what do you do when you get a long brown trout follow but no eat? Do you pause? Do you speed up? Do you figure eight? What's the trick?
Yeah. I wish that there were an easy answer to this one. The biggest and brightest answer is figure eight, and it's a little. I'm gonna stay away from getting too spooky with this one here, but it's strange that that's the question tonight, because that's a really specific question, and I have a video like edited and ready on the drafts in Instagram right now to post of me from the other day with a trout. He must have turned around on the fly 3 or 4 different times coming to the boat, and then followed it all the way through 1/8, or it's a circle when you're river fishing and things are kind of tight. The figure O can be effective, and I mean you can see the fish follow the entire time. And then I ran into a bush and kind of lost some light, but so I stopped the video there. But after running into the bush and just keeping the fly and kind of blindly moving it, I looked up and he was still there. And I had given it a brief pause. That's normally what my answer is when working it back to the boat. I was fishing it drunk, right? So it's not like I'm burning something back. So kind of rewinding, definitely send the drones. Rewinding, if you're working something back quickly or at a constant retrieve, or you didn't cast in a tight angle and your line is getting swept and you're fishing something with lead eyes or a cone head, stop it. Lift up and drop. Do something that will absolutely kill the action of that fly. Because those lead eyes and cone head, one of the most effective uses of those things is to use, I talk about the strip and the kill all the time. They have a built-in kill. It's not necessarily one that I like or find exciting, but that little drop when you release tension, and again, if your line is getting swept as you're wade fishing and you're not, you're doing some sort of modified swing, either purposely or on accident, you are going to have to, this is where the jerk strip will come into play. And I dislike that for a lot of different reasons. But when you're in that position, mostly because it takes you out of the strip set just by default. But when you are in that position of your line's kind of getting swept, you have a brown trout following, it's not committing, and you're stripping and you're not able to give it a proper kill because the current's pushing it, lift the rod, sweep the rod, do something, and then immediately go back to where you were and that'll just provide that brief little acceleration. That might do it. Some sort of change in what you're doing. I talk about this a lot of, you're dating and then, or you're just friends or whatever, and you got to close the deal at some point. You got to make a move, ask them to go out to dinner, do something that you haven't been doing. And most of the time, it's creating some sort of abrupt change in pace, which I don't want to just say stop it, because then, it's just sitting there, it's dead. But doing short, fast, shorter, faster, shorter, faster, little pop, 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 pop. That can be it. I used to do that because I want to maximize the number of whatever we want to call it, those how do we elicit a predatory strike, those bite triggers, whatever other $10 words and phrases we want to use. I want to get as much stuff jammed in a confined space, because I'm going to end up at the boat, and then, well, we're out of luck. No, we're not. And so for the last year or two, definitely for the last year, I've been encouraging people to keep their, jam the tip in, keep their fly in the water. Marv, you got a need at the boat. And that's just holding your fly down in the water with some current moving. So if you're getting a trout who's coming up and approaching the tip of your rod, and you're not very far away from that, the blinders are on. Dip your tip and figure eight them. And then in that eight, if they're not, or figure out, if they're not committing, after a couple eights or a couple O's, start doing some sweeps and kills. So when you're moving it through the eight, stopping it every once in a while. Yeah, near and dear to my heart and very timely. So I'm gonna call that answer good for right now.
There you go. And folks, we love questions on the articulate fly. You can email me or DM me on social media, whatever's easiest for you. And if I use your question, I will send you some articulate fly swag that will probably include a butcher shop or two sticker or two. And we'll enter a drawing for some cool stuff from Ellis. And Ellis, I saw on social media, I think it was last week, you had a bunch of bucktails out, right?
Yeah, I got a bunch of bucktails. Really nice chartreuse color that is just barely tipping towards green, but still, chartreuse is tough. A lot of times it ends up being like a hot lime. So I do take some of the coloring things, the olives, the chartreuses, I take pretty seriously. Nice orange, and then kind of some throwback colors of lavender and mint. And I have so many that I've processed and just kind of been sitting on. So I'll be continuing to update colors there. And yeah, that's available at Ellis Ward Flies. I do want to shout out John at Tailwaters Fly Co. locally here. I was actually just fishing with him today, and good friend of mine. And the way he is running his shop, we're now 9 months in. I have so much respect for him, and I think he's doing a fly shop the right way. And I get that there's different opinions on what that might look like, but his heart's in it, and he's smart, and he loves fishing, and he's a super fishy dude. So he's going to have Blaine here this weekend to do a tying class and then a meet and greet afterwards. And if you're in the area, if you've met John or are doing the tying class with Blaine or want to meet Blaine, obviously you're going to be doing it anyways, just because of who those two people are. If you haven't, I highly encourage anyone and everyone to make some time to get there and meet John and check out the shop. It's stocked for tying in such a great way. He has so many products and such a wide variety. including, look at this, I can go full circle, some of my bucktail.
Well, it's funny too, because I would say, for folks that if you're listening and you are you like the butcher shop stuff or you like the predator fly stuff that Ellis and I talk about. I was actually having this conversation with Brendan Roosh yesterday. One of the ways it's a tire shop. First of all, you've seen the pictures I put up on Instagram of all the whiting hackle, and that usually pulls the predator fly guys out of the woodwork. But I would also say too, there are just not very many retail stores that you can walk in, and there are probably 6 to 8 different brands of hooks hanging on pegs on the wall.
That's such a good point, Marv. And it's one of the reasons why. I mean, I just got goosebumps. When I say he's doing it right, it's not like, oh, he's supportive of me. He's supportive of everyone. I mean, the number of, not just the number of types of squirmy wormy material, like the actual gel stuff, the chenille. I mean, there's different brands, different colors. Hooks down to a size 22, 24. I think of this one little story, someone coming in and asking for a size 12 specific TMC. I forget the actual model. He didn't have it. He had it in 3 days. And, Daiichi, all of the Arex stuff that a lot of people like to tie. I like Daiichi and Arex, Gamakatsu. I mean, yeah, it's, that takes thought, and it's also, he's a great tire. That takes someone who has the reps to understand that there's utility for all these different things, and stylistically that people like different things.
Yeah. 3X streamer hooks are not all created equal.
That is true.
Yeah. So enough about that. I will try to remember to drop a link in the show notes. Class is at 8:30 on Saturday morning at the shop, and then there's a meet and greet at the brewery next door in the afternoon. Great opportunity to pop by, particularly if it's going to be rainy. But then also, Ellis, before I let you hop, you didn't even tell people how much you love to talk about fishing, how to get in touch, and how to get on the boat.
Yeah, if you can't sleep at night and you just want to listen to the sound of my voice, rationalize why I am in fact correct about things that I really don't know much about, you can reach me at 513-543-0019, and also do that to book your trips and get out, because it's been hot.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, folks, as I always say, this time of year, you owe it to yourself to get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Ellis.
Appreciate it, Marv.